Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. Tonight, we're drifting into a story that flows as gently as the ocean itself. A story about the moon, the tides, and the quiet ways they shape our sleep, our dreams, and even our emotions. If you're here tonight, it probably means your mind is full. You've been thinking all day, solving problems, reading messages, trying to make sense of things, and now, at the edge of night, all those thoughts still linger. They whisper and repeat when all you really want is silence. So before we begin, take a deep breath in through your nose, slowly, and out through your mouth. Let your body sink a little deeper into the bed. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to remember a single thing from this story. Your only job is to rest. Tonight's episode, The Moon's Secret Connection to Sleep and Ocean Tides, will take you on a gentle journey through space and sea. We'll explore how the same forces that move vast oceans might quietly influence the rhythm of your heartbeat, your breathing, and your dreams. You'll learn how gravity, light, and ancient cycles dance together, creating invisible waves that reach even the shorelines of your mind. But remember, this isn't a lecture, it's a lullaby wrapped in science. A story meant to hold you, not to test you. You don't need to focus or follow every word. If you drift away halfway through, that's perfect. That means it's working. I hope this helps you drift off gently, or at least feel a little more at peace if you're still awake later. You might notice the moonlight outside your window. Maybe it's full, glowing, and alive. Or maybe it's just a sliver, hanging quietly, keeping watch. Either way, that same moon is pulling the oceans right now. And somewhere, in a quiet way, it's pulling at you too. Before we dive into the tides and the moon's hidden science, I want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for making science in sleeping part of your nightly ritual. I love hearing where you're listening from, so if you're awake tomorrow, let me know in the comments. Are you by the ocean tonight? Or maybe miles away from water? Are you under bright city lights or soft rural skies? Wherever you are, you're part of this shared, drifting world. Now, make sure you're comfortable, your pillow supporting your head, your hands resting where they feel at ease. If you'd like, close your eyes. Imagine the slow, rolling sound of waves, each one gentle, rhythmic, and endless, like the breath of the earth itself as you breathe. Imagine that same rhythm syncing with you. Inhale as the tide comes in. Exhale as it rolls away. There's no rush, no right or wrong pace, just this moment, soft and timeless. The story you're about to hear will move between science and serenity, from lunar gravity to human emotion, from cosmic cycles to quiet dreams. Every piece of it designed to soothe the restless mind. So, let's begin our journey beneath the silver light. Let's follow the moon as it whispers to the waves and see what secrets it shares about the way we sleep. Have you ever wondered why the ocean seems to breathe? Why it rises and falls as if it has a heartbeat of its own? It's as though the sea itself is alive, inhaling and exhaling in rhythm with the moon. You may have stood on the shore late at night, the air cool and damp, and watched the tide slip toward you, only to retreat again. That slow motion feels ancient, doesn't it? Like something that has always been, quietly shaping the earth long before we took our first breath. Picture yourself standing by the shoreline under a pale silver moon. The waves glide toward your feet, whispering secrets as they touch the sand. A soft mist lingers in the air, carrying the scent of salt. Above you, the moon hangs perfectly still, its reflection trembling on the dark water. You can feel the quiet rhythm between them, the moon above, the water below, the invisible pull that keeps them connected. It's a relationship as old as time itself, older than mountains, older than memories. The moon's pull on the ocean is one of nature's simplest yet most profound dances. It begins with gravity, that unseen thread tying every object in the universe together. Even across thousands of miles, the moon's gentle gravity reaches out, tugging at Earth's oceans, drawing them ever so slightly toward it. That pull causes the water on the side of the Earth facing the moon to bulge outward. That's high tide. At the same time, the Earth's rotation and momentum create a second bulge on the opposite side. So, as our planet spins, we move through these bulges like a clock turning through time. That's why most coastlines experience 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day. It's as if the planet is breathing in a rhythm set by the moon. But what's astonishing is not just how this works, it's how perfectly balanced it is. The moon, much smaller than Earth, exerts just enough pull to move entire oceans. Not too much, not too little. If the moon were any closer, the tides would roar across continents. Any farther, and the seas would lie still, stagnant and lifeless. Our world, as we know it, is tuned to this exact distance, a delicate balance that scientists call tidal locking. It means the same side of the moon always faces us. A cosmic synchronization, Earth and moon spinning together like partners in a timeless waltz. Did you know that this tidal motion may have been one of the first forces to shape life itself? Billions of years ago, when the first living things began to emerge in the shallow coastal waters, it was the tides that nurtured them. The rhythmic washing of waves brought nutrients, oxygen, and movement, creating tiny cycles of exposure and rest, light and shadow, wet and dry. Some scientists believe that without tides, complex life might never have evolved. The moon, in its quiet way, may have been the midwife of life on Earth, and as life evolved, it began to listen. Creatures learned to live by the moon's rhythm. Sea turtles time their nesting by the lunar cycle. Crabs and corals synchronize their spawning with the full moon. Even plants near the shore open and close their leaves in response to tidal flow. Every pulse of the ocean is echoed by the pulse of life itself. And we humans, for all our modern noise and city lights, are not immune to that rhythm. Our bodies contain oceans too salty, electric, and alive. The fluids within us respond subtly to cycles of light and gravity. Some studies suggest our sleep patterns shift slightly with the phases of the moon. During full moons, people tend to take longer to fall asleep and experience lighter rest. It's as though some ancient part of us still listens, still turns toward the moon, even when our eyes are closed. Think about that for a moment. The same gravitational whisper that moves the sea might also be tugging gently at your dreams. When you lie down beneath moonlight, perhaps your body remembers. Perhaps somewhere deep within, the tide still turns. Maybe that's why we've always looked to the moon for comfort, why poets and scientists alike have felt its pull, not just on the water, but on the heart. The moon, in its silent orbit, has watched over us for eons. It has witnessed countenance shift, civilizations rise and fade, and still it keeps time. Each phase a marker in the grand calendar of existence, waxing, waning, vanishing, returning like breath. And perhaps that's why its connection to sleep feels so natural, because both sleep and the moon are cycles of renewal. Both invite us to surrender and to trust that we'll return. In this way, the tides are not only a phenomenon of the sea, but of the soul. We each carry our own tides within moments of expansion and retreat, of energy and rest. When we're awake, we rush forward like the rising sea. When we sleep, we ebb, we release, we drift. The moon becomes a mirror, reflecting what already moves within us. So, as you listen now, let the rhythm of this truth wash through you. You are part of that ancient dance. Each breath you take echoes the same motion that has guided the oceans for billions of years. There's a kind of peace in knowing that, isn't there? A reminder that no matter how busy your days are, your body still belongs to the Earth's greater rhythm. It's still guided by the same quiet pull of the moon. And as this chapter of the story draws to a close, you might feel that rhythm softening within you. Your breathing slow, your thoughts calm, your body like water settling after the tide. Because the next part of our journey will move deeper into how this gravitational dance influences not just the ocean, but the subtle rhythms inside us. So stay where you are, warm, safe, relaxed. And let's drift gently forward into the moon's influence on your own inner tides. Have you ever noticed how some nights feel different? When the moon is full, the world seems a little brighter, a little stranger. You lie awake, your room painted in silver light, shadows softer but deeper somehow. The air feels charged, as though the night itself is holding its breath. You may not be able to explain it, but you feel it. The quiet intensity of moonlight slipping through the window, touching your skin like cool silk. It's beautiful, but it's also mysterious, as if something ancient stirs beneath that glow. Picture yourself lying by an open window, the curtains drifting slightly with each passing breeze. Outside, the full moon hangs like a watchful eye over the sleeping world. Its reflection ripples on rooftops, rivers, and clouds. Somewhere, an owl calls in the distance, and beneath it all, you can sense an invisible hum, the rhythm of time measured not by clocks, but by light itself. The moon's light is soft, yet it carries power, power that has guided travelers, shaped myths, and perhaps still guides the quiet chemistry inside your brain. Science tells us that moonlight is only reflected sunlight, faint, diluted, less than 1/1,000,000th the brightness of the day. And yet, for thousands of generations, it ruled our nights, before electricity, before screens and street lamps. The moon was our only companion after sunset. It told us when to hunt, when to plant, when to rest. And somewhere in that long history, the human mind learned to listen. Our ancestors looked up and felt its rhythm, and their bodies, through centuries of adaptation, began to respond. Even now, in the modern world, under neon skies, we haven't completely lost that connection. Researchers have noticed something remarkable. During full moons, people tend to fall asleep later. They sleep for shorter periods and spend less time in deep, restorative rest. Their melatonin levels, the hormone that signals darkness to the body, drop slightly. It's as though the brain senses the lunar light even through walls and curtains, not through the eyes, but through the body's ancient clock, a whisper of awareness that says, the night is still bright. Stay awake a little longer, and yet, it's not just the light. There's another kind of pull, one harder to measure, but easy to feel. Some scientists think that the moon's gravitational rhythm might subtly affect the fluids within us. After all, our bodies are mostly water. The idea is controversial, debated, even dismissed by some, but others see hints of a hidden resonance, small, delicate, but real. Perhaps the moon stirs the mind the same way it stirs the sea, creating inner tides of thought and emotion. Have you ever felt restless on a bright night, as though your thoughts moved faster, your dreams sharper, your emotions closer to the surface? That's what many people throughout history believed. Ancient physicians wrote of lunar madness, not the kind of madness that harms, but a heightened sensitivity, attuning to something larger than ourselves. The word lunatic, in fact, comes from luna, the Latin word for moon. They thought the full moon opened a window in the mind, and perhaps, in a poetic way, they were right, because under its light, our dreams do grow vivid, our imagination stirs. It's as if the subconscious wakes while the body rests. But imagine, for a moment, that this isn't a curse. Imagine it's a kind of invitation, a reminder from the universe to stay connected to its cycles. The moon doesn't just pull oceans and hormones, it pulls attention. It asks us to look up, to slow down, to remember that even in darkness, there is light, and that, perhaps, sleep itself is a reflection of the cosmos, a rhythm of surrender and return. In the body, this rhythm is guided by what scientists call the circadian clock, a network of cells in the brain's hypothalamus that measure time through light, temperature, and internal chemistry. Every 24 hours, it resets itself, aligning us with the spin of the planet, but layered on top of this is another rhythm, longer, subtler, the circadian cycle, roughly 29.5 days, a pattern that echoes the moon's orbit. Even when people live cut off from moonlight, in isolation or constant darkness, some studies find that their sleep and mood still drift in that lunar rhythm, as though the body remembers something older than the clock, older even than the calendar. Did you know that coral reefs time their mass spawning events by the full moon? Entire ecosystems rise and fall with its cycle, and in humans, women's menstrual cycles often align with it to a harmony of biology and celestial timing. It seems the moon's rhythm hums through every living thing, invisible but undeniable when you fall asleep. Your brain passes through stages like tides. First, the light waves of drowsiness, then deeper currents of dreaming, each cycle lasting about 90 minutes. In and out, rise and fall. Even your breathing mirrors the moonlit sea, slow, rhythmic, perpetual. Everything about rest is movement disguised as stillness, just as the ocean's calm hides the swirl of currents beneath. Your mind, too, continues its motion, reorganizing thoughts, repairing cells, reshaping memories. Imagine, for a moment, drifting into that inner ocean, your thoughts floating like small boats, carried by gentle tides of neurotransmitters and dreams, each wave washing away the noise of the day, each current carrying you deeper into the unknown, and somewhere in that depth, the moon shines, still not as light, but as rhythm, a steady, unseen pulse guiding your inner sea. There's something quietly miraculous about that, isn't there? That an object hanging 250,000 miles away can whisper to your sleep. That its ancient orbit, born from cosmic collision billions of years ago, still reaches into your blood and breath. The connection feels both scientific and spiritual, a thread that binds us to the universe, reminding us that we are not separate from the cosmos, but shaped by it. The next time you find yourself awake on a moonlit night, don't fight it. Let that light be a companion, not a thief. Listen to it, as if it's telling you a story in a language older than words. You might notice that your mind quiets, not through darkness, but through surrender, because the moon isn't asking for your wakefulness, only your wonder. It has been watching humanity since the first fires burned on the savannah, asterisk. And now, as you lie here in your bed, it watches still, the same moon, the same pull, the same slow breathing of the world as you breathe now. Feel how your chest rises and falls, how the rhythm matches something vast beyond yourself. Maybe that's the secret the moon has always kept, that rest isn't just the absence of motion, it's the harmony of it, every heartbeat, every dream, every tide, moving in perfect time. And as we leave this chapter behind, your body grows softer, heavier, calm. The moonlight fades from silver to gray, the waves settle, the air stills. We're drifting now toward a new horizon, toward the next layer of connection between the sea, the sky, and the self. So rest where you are. Let your thoughts float like feathers on water, and together we'll follow the current deeper into the next secret of the moon and the ocean within. Have you ever wondered whether the ocean ever truly sleeps? It looks so calm at night, a wide mirror of moonlight stretching to the horizon. But beneath that stillness lies a world that never stops moving, a secret pulse, deep and deliberate, flowing through darkness thicker than ink. If the surface is the ocean's face, then its depths are the ocean's dreams. Picture yourself floating just above that silver skin of water, the air cool, the moon resting high like a lantern of quiet fire. Each ripple below you shimmers, then disappears. Now imagine sinking, slowly, as if gravity itself has softened. The sounds of the world fade, no wind, no distant traffic, just the low hum of eternity. The deeper you go, the darker it becomes, until even the moon's reflection fades. But in that darkness, life still glows. Tiny sparks drift past you, plankton, jellyfish, fragile as breath, shining with pale blue light. It's as if the stars have slipped beneath the sea to keep watch from below. Scientists call this glow bioluminescence, a quiet alchemy where life makes its own light. Each flicker, a chemical conversation, a signal, a defense, a dance. At night, billions of these creatures rise from the deep to feed. Their movement is so vast, it's called the diel vertical migration, the largest daily movement of life on Earth. Every evening, as the sun sets and the moon rises, a living tide ascends, fish, plankton, shrimp, an ocean of small bodies rising through hundreds of meters. Then, as dawn returns, they sink again, back into shadow. The ocean's heartbeat, rising and falling in time with the turning earth. Now, here's the secret that gives scientists goosebumps. This migration, this nightly journey of billions, is guided not only by sunlight, but also by the moon. When the moon is full, Its silver light pierces deeper into the water. The creatures sense it and hesitate. They rise more slowly, hide a little longer when the moon is new. They surge upward boldly into the safety of darkness. The moonlight becomes a cosmic dimmer switch, controlling the hidden traffic of the sea. Did you know that some whales use that same glow to navigate? They dive by the shimmer of plankton and the faint beams that filter down through layers of water. Even the great blue whale, the largest animal on Earth, feels those lunar rhythms. Its migration routes align with seasons of light and tide. And in a strange way, so does our breathing. Because the ocean is not just home to life, it's the planet's lungs. Every second breath you take carries oxygen born in the sea, created by microscopic plankton that drift with the moon-pulled tides. So when the sea sleeps, it dreams oxygen into the world, and you breathe its dreams. Think of how astonishing that is. Each inhale you take might carry a molecule that once drifted through moonlit water, a breath that began as sunlight, transformed by plankton, lifted by tide. In that way, the boundary between ocean and human disappears. You are made of the sea's memory. Its salt runs in your veins. Its rhythm echoes in your pulse deep below. In the black zones of pressure and cold, strange forms drift and hover. Giant squid with eyes like planets, ghostly fish whose skin is almost transparent. They sense vibrations more than light. For them, the moon is not something seen, but something felt, a faint shift in gravity, a whisper in the current that tells them when to move, when to feed, when to hide. It's proof that even in total darkness, the moon's influence reaches all, a reminder that connection does not depend on sight, but on resonance. You can think of your own rest in that same way. When you fall asleep, your consciousness sinks below the bright surface of awareness. Your mind becomes the deep ocean quiet, weightless, full of hidden light. Thoughts drift like schools of fish. Memories flicker and fade. Dreams rise from the depths, shimmering for a moment before dissolving. The brain's slow waves of sleep resemble the ocean's long, rolling swells, up and down, in and out, energy moving but never lost. The night inside you mirrors the night outside, and somewhere above, the moon watches both, guiding each tide. There's suspense in that thought, isn't there? The idea that something so distant can choreograph every motion below. And yet, it's comforting too, because it means the universe is not chaotic, but musical. Every wave, every breath, every heartbeat, part of a larger rhythm. A lullaby written in gravity and time. In laboratories, scientists use delicate instruments to record ocean currents. They find that even deep underwater, the flow slows during lunar eclipses, as if the sea itself pauses to listen when the moon hides its face. Perhaps you've felt a similar pause in yourself. Moments when the world seems to hold still, when time feels stretched and silent. That's your inner tide, aligning with something vast, reminding you that stillness has its own movement. The next time you hear the hush of the ocean, imagine it breathing with you. Every swell a heartbeat, every retreat an exhale. You are floating in that same rhythm now, your thoughts lighter, your body heavier, your awareness gently sinking like sand settling after a wave. It's tempting to believe the sea is asleep at night, but maybe it's the opposite. Maybe night is when the ocean dreams most vividly. when its creatures rise and sing their silent songs, when the moon and the water share their private conversation, unheard by the waking world. And maybe that's what you are entering to, a conversation beyond words, one between your body and the cosmos, between breath and tide. So, as we drift from this depth, feel yourself floating upward again, slowly, easily, through layers of cool darkness into the comfort. You carry the calm of the deep with you, each cell of your body remembering the ocean's patience, each heartbeat echoing the waves that never cease. When you open your mind to rest, you're not escaping the world. You're returning to it. Be still now. Let that thought linger like the afterglow of moonlight on water. And as the surface brightens, a new phase begins. The moon moves on. The tides prepare to turn again. And we, following their rhythm, will drift to the next story. One that explores how these same forces touch our emotions and shape the quiet weather of the heart. So stay where you are, breathing slowly, feeling the sea still within you, because the journey continues and the night is far from over. Have you ever felt a sudden wave of emotion when you look up at the moon? Not sadness, exactly, not joy either, but something deep and wordless, as if the light itself carries memories that aren't entirely your own. People have felt it for as long as there have been people, that quiet tug inside the chest, arriving with the tide, leaving with the dawn. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of night again. The moon hangs low, enormous, golden at first, silver as it climbs. The ocean moves in slow breaths beside you, and somewhere between those two vast mirrors, sky and sea, your heart begins to echo their rhythm. You might not notice it at first, but the pulse in your wrists steadies, your breathing aligns, your thoughts stretch thin like mist over water. The same gravity that stirs the tides is touching the blood that moves through you, tiny but steady, a whisper of pull that connects your heartbeat to the orbit above. Scientists have tried to measure this connection. They've tracked how human blood pressure, sleep, even patterns of childbirth shift slightly with the lunar cycle. Some call it coincidence. Others call it entrainment. The body, they say, is a clock of clocks, a collection of rhythms nested inside rhythms, one for the heart, one for the lungs, one for the mind's quiet chemistry. And sometimes the moon becomes the conductor of that hidden orchestra. When its light swells to full, cortisol, the stress hormone, dips ever so slightly. Serotonin, the molecule of mood, rises in delicate waves, as though the brain itself brightens a little under lunar glow. Did you know that even in hospitals, where lights never dim, doctors notice patterns in the intensity of human emotion? Surgeons see more vivid dreams, reported more spontaneous awakenings. Psychologists speak of mood shifts that follow the waxing and waning of the moon. They debate, they test, but the data hums the same quiet tune. The human heart listens to cosmic timing, whether it believes in it or not. Picture now the ocean deep beneath you, every drop of it responding to that same invisible rhythm. And inside your chest, a smaller ocean stirs. Your bloodstream, salty and electric, flows with each heartbeat like tiny tides. The heart is not a simple pump, it's a wave machine. Each contraction sends a pulse of pressure that rolls through your arteries. Your emotions are carried on those waves too, because feelings are not just thoughts, they are movements. tiny changes in hormones, ions, chemistry, all fluids in motion. The sea inside you, listening to the sea outside. There's something suspenseful about realizing how thin the boundary really is. The moon does not need permission to influence you. It doesn't even try. It simply exists, shining, pulling, waiting, and you, made mostly of water, respond whether you mean to or not. Maybe that's why love feels stronger under a full moon, why sadness deepens but softens, why artists stay awake to paint, to write, to dream. The moon turns emotion into tide, and tide into music. In laboratories studying sleep and emotion, scientists discovered that during the darker phases of the moon, dreams tend to be calmer, more structured. During the bright phases, they become vivid, strange, sometimes luminous. Your brain is not only resting, it is performing an internal theater lit by lunar light. The amygdala, the part of the brain that processes fear and desire, becomes slightly more active under full moon nights. Perhaps that's why stories of werewolves, love spells, and midnight longing have endured for centuries, not because the myths were true, but because the feeling was. The moon amplifies whatever lives quietly in the corners of the heart. Now imagine the surface of your mind as a still lagoon, each thought a ripple, each feeling a current. The moonlight spills across it, and slowly new reflections appear. Moments you've forgotten, faces you've loved, things you've lost or found. They rise like phosphorescent fish from below the surface, shining just long enough to be seen. Then they fade again, leaving calm behind. This is what night does. It lets the emotional ocean breathe. Every high tide of memory cleans the shore. Every low tide leaves peace in its place. Some researchers call this emotional entrainment. Others call it lunar resonance. But maybe it's simpler than that. Maybe the heart just needs something vast and steady to match its own rhythm against. The moon becomes that mirror, constant yet changing, silent yet full of expression. We measure our small sorrows and joys against its endless patience. And somehow, that comparison heals, because if the moon can wane and return, then so can we. Take a slow breath now. Feel the weight of your body settle into the bed or the earth beneath you. Your pulse slowing, your chest rising and falling like quiet surf. Inside you, microscopic tides shift, balancing salt, oxygen, and emotion outside. The real tide moves to the same ancient rhythm. There is no separation, only different scales of the same motion. You are part of that cycle, whether you are waking or dreaming, whether you are calm or restless, happy or uncertain. Think of it this way. Every emotion is a wave. It builds, crests, breaks, and dissolves. No wave lasts forever. But the ocean beneath it remains. The moon does not still the sea. It teaches it how to move. And so, your heart learns from that pull to rise, to fall, and to rest, to release what has passed, to prepare for what will return. The suspense that hums in the night sky is not danger, but possibility. The unknown that waits between each phase. You don't have to control it. You only have to listen. Let your body be the shoreline, your thoughts the sand. The tide of feeling will wash through and smooth everything it touches, leaving only what belongs. As the night deepens, the moon climbs higher. Its light cools from gold to white. The air around you feels wider. You can almost hear the pulse of the planet in the hush. A slow, deliberate sound, like a heart echoing through water. You are safe inside it. You are the listener, the witness, and the wave. And as this chapter fades, the horizon begins to change color. Dawn not yet near, but approaching. The moon starts to lower. Its pull softens. The emotions it stirred begin to settle, like sand in calm water. You drift with them, lighter, clearer, ready to follow where the next current leads, because the story isn't over. The moon has more secrets to share, not just with the sea, not just with your heart, but with the very rhythm of life itself. So stay here in this quiet, breathing slowly. Let the tide of feeling turn to stillness again, and prepare to follow that stillness into the next depth. Have you ever wondered if the moon keeps more than just the ocean in rhythm? If perhaps it also times the very pulse of life itself? What if the soft glow above your window tonight is not just a reflection of sunlight, but a clock older than any we've ever built, a silent metronome keeping time for everything that grows, breathes, and dreams? Picture yourself lying on a soft field at night, the grass cool beneath your hands, the air thick with the scent of earth and water above you. The moon is bright, framed by drifting clouds that look like ghosts of tides. The stars flicker faintly in the distance. You can almost hear something beneath the silence, a rhythm, faint but steady. It's not the wind, not the trees, not even your heartbeat. It's the quiet pulse of the world itself, a rhythm that all living things once obeyed before clocks, before screens, before artificial light. Long before humans named months or marked calendars, the moon was the first keeper of time. Ancient farmers watched its waxing and waning to decide when to plant and when to harvest. Fishermen trusted it to predict the movements of the sea. Animals used it to know when to mate, migrate, and rest. Even now, coral reefs release their eggs into the water in perfect synchrony with the full moon, thousands of miles apart across oceans. Each colony senses the same silent signal from the sky and begins to glow like underwater lanterns rising in unison. Did you know this phenomenon happens so precisely that scientists can predict the exact minute it will begin, not by temperature or weather, but by the phase of the moon alone? Biologists call this lunar entrainment, but in simpler words, it's nature's memory of light. Every organism, from the smallest plankton to the tallest tree, has a built-in awareness of rhythm. The sun marks the day, but the moon teaches the night. And life, in its gentlest forms, listens more closely to night than to anything else. Even in humans, traces of this lunar rhythm linger. Women's natural cycles often align with the moon's period. Some psychologists found that moods subtly rise and fall with those phases too, as if the brain, deep inside its chemistry, still remembers the moon's schedule. Your body might have forgotten the stars, but your cells have not. Inside every one of them, proteins and genes dance to a rhythm of light and darkness. They follow signals from your eyes, from your sleep, from the faintest moonbeam that reaches through your window. And if you've ever found yourself restless on a full moon night, your mind turning like a tide that refuses to calm, it isn't all in your head. Scientists at the University of Basel found that people take longer to fall asleep during a full moon. Their sleep is lighter, their dreams more vivid. Melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest drops slightly. It's as though some ancient instinct awakens. The part of you that once hunted or danced or whispered under silver light, still responding quietly to that pull from above. Now imagine, somewhere deep in a forest, sap moving through a tree trunk, roots drawing water in slow, deliberate rhythm, leaves unfolding just a little wider when the moonlight is strong. Botanists have recorded these movements. They call it circadian and circadianar oscillation. The trees breathe differently under the moon. Some even tilt their branches in subtle ways, as if bowing to the night. Their internal chemistry follows a pulse, not just of sunlight, but of lunar reflection, as though the forest itself inhales with the full moon and exhales with the new. Even bacteria, those ancient architects of life, have been found to move, divide, and glow in cycles that mirror lunar timing. This means the moon doesn't just sculpt the tides or the moods of animals. It shapes the very essence of life at its smallest scale. The moon is written into biology, and by extension, into you. Think for a moment about how many generations have lived under that same rhythm. How many dreams, loves, and discoveries have unfolded under that same slow beat of light and shadow. Cavemen painted by moonlight. Sailors crossed endless seas, using its glow as a compass. Poets wrote about its phases long before telescopes could explain them. And tonight, as you listen, your brain waves, those tiny oscillations of electricity, are quietly syncing with that same cycle. The full moon often strengthens alpha waves, the frequency of calm, focus, and theta waves, the ones that live between wakefulness and dream, the state you're drifting through now. What's fascinating is that the moon's influence is not direct. It doesn't touch you like sunlight does. It whispers through gravity and reflected photons, through the timing of hormones, through the stillness of water inside you. It's a conversation made of silence and motion, and you are always a part of it. You always have been. Somewhere in the Indian Ocean, turtles crawl ashore to lay eggs only under the full moon. In the Arctic, certain plankton rise toward the surface each month. Drawn by the same glow, even deep-sea creatures that never see sunlight still react to the moon's gravity. It reaches farther than light can travel. It's as though the entire planet hums to one ancient note, a note we rarely hear but always feel. What if creativity, too, flows with this rhythm? Many artists and thinkers have said they feel most alive, most inspired, when the moon is full. Perhaps not by superstition, but by resonance. The brain, flooded with a little less melatonin and a little more light, opens its gates to imagination. That strange borderland between sleep and thought becomes wider. Ideas float in like glowing tides. You might call it coincidence. But art has always trusted the moon more than reason ever could. And if you've ever looked out at night and felt small but peaceful, that's not weakness, it's alignment. The moon reminds you that you belong to something measured in centuries, not seconds, that even as life rushes forward, the deeper rhythm continues underneath, slow, patient, eternal. So take a deep breath. Imagine those rhythms syncing, your pulse, the trees, the oceans, all swaying to the same ancient music. Let your thoughts slow to match it. Let your breathing join the planet's quiet exhale. In this state, you're not separate from the world. You're part of its heartbeat, the same heartbeat that guides the tides. The dreams, the seeds beneath the soil, all answering the same conductor, the moon. And as the light above your imaginary field softens, clouds drift in, veiling its face. You feel the rhythm continue even when you can't see it. Because that's the moon's greatest secret. It doesn't need to shine to have power. It moves the world even from behind the curtain of shadow. Just as your heart keeps its rhythm while you sleep. Quietly, faithfully, unseen. So let yourself drift now. Let the thought of lunar timing fade into the background hum of your body. Every cell within you still remembering its place in the cosmic rhythm. The moon and the ocean and you all breathing in the same slow cycle. Each night a rehearsal of eternity. Each dream a ripple on that infinite tide. And as you fall deeper into stillness, know that somewhere above, the moon continues to watch. Its light brushing the surface of the sea. Its gravity holding everything, even you, in perfect, silent time. Have you ever noticed how dreams feel different on certain nights? Sometimes vivid and glowing, as if lit from within. Other times faint and quick to fade. Have you ever woken up under a full moon and felt as though your mind had been walking in a place both real and impossible? It's not imagination alone. It's the moon's quiet influence, slipping into the brain's deepest theaters. Close your eyes now. Picture yourself lying in a calm room. The curtains slightly open. Silver light pools across the floor like spilled water. You can almost feel it touch your skin. It's not warm like sunlight. It's cool, clean, deliberate. Your eyelids flicker. Your breathing slows. Somewhere inside, your consciousness begins to drift toward the first dream. Scientists call this moment the hypnagogic state. That fragile space between waking and sleep. Here, reality and imagination overlap. Shapes melt, sounds stretch, memories and inventions blend. It's the mind's rehearsal for dreaming. And during this delicate transition, the moon has its quiet say. Researchers at the University of Basel once monitored sleepers during full moons. They found that brain activity in the deep sleep phase dropped by 30%. People took longer to fall asleep and woke more during the night. But what intrigued them most were the dreams. They were more vivid, more emotionally charged, as though the brain had turned its brightness up a notch. The moon didn't speak in words, it spoke in imagery, in story, in emotional color. Imagine that your brain is an ocean too, not of water, but of electricity, billions of neurons firing, each sending a ripple of light when you dream. Those waves move differently. They slow in the frontal lobe, where logic lives, and quicken in the occipital region, where vision and imagination awaken. Now imagine the moon as a distant tide maker, its light and gravity brushing against that inner sea, not forcing, not commanding, but gently nudging the rhythm, encouraging the waves of thought to rise higher, encouraging stories to form from fragments of memory and hope. Did you know that moonlight actually contains polarized light, a subtle pattern invisible to the human eye? Yet many animals, from bees to birds, navigate by it. Some scientists believe humans, too, might once have sensed it, not through the eyes, but through the subconscious mind. That faint lunar geometry could be what shapes certain dreamscapes, those recurring scenes of water, flight or falling, as if our minds are echoing ancient instincts. memories of ancestors who once lived by moonlight alone. Picture yourself dreaming now. You're standing on a vast, reflective shore. The water still, the horizon endless above you. The moon hangs impossibly large. You begin to walk toward it, each step silent. The air around you hums with recognition. It's as if the dream itself knows it's being watched. Somewhere deep inside your sleeping brain, your limbic system stirs, the amygdala. Where fear and wonder live, it glows faintly, its activity rising with each flicker of lunar phase. That's where dreams gain their color, their pulse, their story. Dreams, psychologists say, are the brain's emotional translators. They take feelings you haven't processed and turn them into pictures. There the moonlight shining into the mind's hidden rooms, illuminating what you didn't know was waiting there. Sometimes it's comfort, sometimes sorrow, sometimes the simple joy of flight, but under a full moon, that illumination becomes more complete. The shadows shrink, the symbols sharpen. Your sleeping mind becomes both observer and participant, a creator sculpting meaning out of mystery in one study. Participants kept dream journals for several months, unaware that researchers were tracking lunar cycles. When the full moon arrived, the reports changed. Dreams became longer, more emotional, more cinematic. Symbols of water, transformation, and reflection appeared again and again, as if the moon was not only influencing sleep, but choosing its own language. And perhaps it was, because the moon is both mirror and storyteller. It reflects light, but also stirs imagination. The two are not separate. They are the same act. There's a gentle suspense in this discovery, that something so distant could reach inside the most private corners of your mind. Not to control, but to collaborate. When you dream beneath the moon, you're not just remembering, you're creating. Your brain becomes an artist painting with the light of a celestial partner. The neurons fire like constellations, and the story they tell is uniquely yours. But it hums with a rhythm that belongs to every living thing. Now imagine ancient humans sleeping in caves or under open skies. The moon bright enough to paint shadows across their faces. They would dream of it, too, of glowing shapes, of transformation, of journeys through darkness and return. Those dreams became myths, myths became rituals, and rituals became stories we still whisper today, not because they were false, but because they were truer than language. The moon was the first light we trusted to watch over us as we slept, and maybe it still is when you next fall asleep under its glow. Notice the subtle difference, how your dreams carry a feeling of expansion, of curiosity mixed with calm. It's not just your imagination, it's your biology listening, your brain waves synchronizing with that ancient rhythm, your heart slowing to match the rise and fall of a celestial tide. And as you drift deeper, the moon becomes your silent narrator, guiding you through landscapes made of memory and possibility. It does not judge or decide, it only reflects. Whatever you bring to it, it turns into beauty. Even fear becomes story. Even confusion becomes light. So breathe deeply now. Feel your body soften, your mind widen, the light on the other side of your eyelids growing faint and silver. You are inside the dream, and the dream is inside you. Your thoughts become waves again. Your heartbeat becomes the quiet percussion beneath the moon's melody. Each exhale releases the last fragments of waking thought, until only imagination remains, a tide that rises and falls in perfect time. Somewhere beyond your window, the real moon continues its slow journey, pulling oceans, guiding coral, whispering to sleeping minds around the world. You are one among millions, each of you dreaming under the same invisible rhythm, each dream unique, yet woven into one immense network of lunar imagination. Like countless ripples in the same cosmic sea, all connected, all shining softly, and when the night finally gives way to dawn, the dreams will fade. The stories will slip back beneath the surface, but their residue will stay, a feeling of wonder, of something vast yet gentle watching over you. That is the moon's final gift, to remind you that imagination is not escape. It's participation, the same creative force that moves the tides, moves your thoughts. And as you rest beneath its glow, you're not drifting away from the world. You're drifting deeper into it. So now, let go. Let the moon guide your next dream. Let its silent pulse shape the story only your heart can tell. Because somewhere, in the unseen light between ocean and mind, the moon is waiting to listen, and to answer in the only language it knows, a rhythm, a tide, a dream. Have you ever wondered what happens to the ocean when the world sleeps? When the winds quiet, when even the stars seem to drift in drowsy stillness? You might think the sea becomes silent too, but beneath that dark surface, life continues in a rhythm so vast and ancient that it mirrors your own heartbeat. When you sleep, the ocean sleeps with you, not in stillness, but in slow, deliberate motion, breathing in, breathing out, pulled by the same invisible hand, the moon. Imagine yourself floating now, the water around you cool and heavy. You can't see the shore, only the reflection of the moon above. It quivers gently with every ripple. Your body drifts with the current, and for a moment, you feel what the ocean feels, the slow tug of gravity brushing through your veins, the rise and fall that never ends. This is what scientists call the internal tide, a hidden pulse that moves through the ocean's depths long after surface waves have faded. Down there, thousands of meters beneath the glow of moonlight, where sunlight never reaches and the pressure would crush steel, the sea still breathes. Internal tides travel through the deep like sound through the body. They rise against underwater mountains, curl, break, and stir the sleeping layers of the world's largest reservoir. Even in total darkness, the moon's rhythm is alive, a heartbeat in water, steady and unseen. Oceanographers once believed the deep sea was motionless at night, but sensors placed miles below the surface told another story. Every 12 hours and 25 minutes, exactly half a lunar day, the water began to move. A massive surge, rising and falling, as if the entire planet inhaled and exhaled. It was as if the sea itself was dreaming, and in those dreams, it was remembering the pull of the moon. When they analyzed the data, scientists noticed something strange. These internal tides did not fade with distance. They traveled for hundreds, even thousands of kilometers beneath the surface, like whispers passed from one ocean basin to another. When the tide reached an undersea ridge, it would rise, break, and release its stored energy, mixing nutrients from the deep into the upper layers, feeding plankton, which in turn feed the rest of the world. Every meal on Earth, in some quiet way, begins with a conversation between moon and tide. Now, close your eyes. Imagine those hidden tides as thoughts inside your own mind. You cannot see them, but you feel their movement, each one rising, cresting, and sinking back into the subconscious. The surface of your awareness might appear calm, but beneath ideas, emotions, and memories drift like luminous creatures, their glow faint but constant. Your dreams are the internal tides of your soul, and, like the ocean, they are guided by a force just beyond sight. Deep-sea creatures live by this rhythm, too. Scientists call it the diel vertical migration, the largest daily movement of life on the planet. Every night, billions of animals, shrimp, squid, fish, and plankton, rise toward the surface. Drawn by moonlight, they feed and drift in silver streams through the black water. And when dawn approaches, they descend again into the deep. It's a nightly exhale, a returning to stillness. Some creatures even glow faintly blue as they move, a phenomenon called bioluminescence. Their bodies shine like tiny moons, creating constellations beneath the waves. It's as if the sea itself dreams of stars. Imagine now that you are drifting beside them, weightless and calm, your body suspended between gravity and surrender. The light of the moon above you reflected in thousands of living sparks below, each one pulsing with quiet intelligence, every movement measured, every shimmer deliberate. There's suspense in this silence, the sense that something ancient is watching, not with eyes, but with awareness, because in the deep, everything listens, and everything responds, just as your body responds to calm. When you breathe slowly, when your muscles soften, your heart follows a rhythm scientists call respiratory sinus arrhythmia. With each inhale, your pulse quickens slightly. With each exhale, it slows. It's the same wave pattern that echoes through the ocean's internal tides. Your heartbeat and the sea's movement are twins, separated by scale. You are an ocean contained within skin, and when you sleep, your inner tides synchronize with the Earth's outer ones. It's no coincidence that people sleep better near the sea. Marine biologists and sleep researchers both know this now. The sound of waves mimics the frequency of slow breathing, about 12 cycles per minute, the same as the ocean's gentle rhythm near shore. Your brain recognizes this pattern instinctively. It lowers your heart rate, releases serotonin, and prepares the mind for the descent into sleep. The tide soothes because it speaks your body's first language, somewhere deep in the Pacific, near the Mariana Trench. An array of underwater microphones records the planet's hidden soundtrack. Among the whale songs, shifting sediments, and distant earthquakes, there is a pulse faint, low, perfectly regular, every 12 hours. Every half-turn of the Earth, it beats in sync with the moon's orbit. A sound so constant that scientists began to call it the planet's breath, a reminder that the world itself never truly rests. It simply shifts its energy from light to dark, from motion to stillness, just as you do when you drift from wakefulness into dream. Now imagine listening to that sound in your own heart, the slow rhythm of a pulse that matches the tide, the gentle pulling sensation as if gravity itself is cradling you, because, in a way, it is. Gravity doesn't just hold planets, it holds your blood, your bones, your breath, every heartbeat. Every inhale is the echo of an ancient pull, the same pull that moves continents and raises seas. And perhaps that's why the ocean feels familiar, why its sound can lull you even when you've never seen it. Some part of you recognizes its rhythm because your ancestors were born from it, because your chemistry is made of its salts, because when you close your eyes and breathe, you return to it, each breath a tide, each thought a ripple. The same moon that once guided the oceans now guides the waves of your mind. There's suspense in knowing that the sea never stops moving, that beneath every calm surface, power waits, but there's comfort, because the same is true of you. Beneath your stillness lies energy, potential, memory, life, and sleep is not the absence of motion. It's the transformation of it. The body turns outward energy inward. The mind dives deep, exploring its hidden ocean, and in that dive, you find restoration. So breathe now. Let your thoughts drift like slow currents. Let the rhythm of your breath become the sea's lullaby. Each inhale draws the tide in. Each exhale releases it back. You are safe in this rhythm, carried by something older and larger than you can name. The ocean beneath you, the moon above you, the quiet world between them, all connected by invisible lines of pull and peace. If you listen closely, you might almost hear the whisper of those internal tides, the ones that stir the deeps, that shape dreams, that nourish life. They are not loud or demanding. They are patient, ancient, and endlessly repeating, like a promise kept through time. And as your awareness begins to fade, as you sink into that slow current of rest, remember that you are part of this eternal exchange. The moon moves the sea moves the air moves your lungs, and your breath returns the rhythm to the world. So let go. Let the sea sleep through you. Let the moon's quiet hand rock you toward stillness. Feel your pulse slowing, your thoughts softening into liquid calm, and know that somewhere, far below, the deepest waters of the earth are breathing with you. You are both the sleeper and the ocean, both the dreamer and the tide, and the moon, silent and ancient above it all, is keeping time. Have you ever noticed that on certain nights, when the moon seems impossibly bright, your mind feels more awake? You lie there, the world still, yet something inside you hums, a quiet vibration, a stirring, as if you're being touched by invisible electricity. You might call it restlessness or lunar magic. But what if that feeling isn't just imagination? What if, beneath the quiet silver of the moonlight, something real is moving through you, something ancient, electric, and alive? Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the earth as it floats in darkness, wrapped in a shimmering blue field of energy, the magnetosphere. It shields us from solar winds and cosmic radiation, a protective aura generated by the molten heart of our planet. And though invisible, it is constantly in motion, pulsing, shifting, bending, like the slow breathing of a giant asleep beneath our feet. Now, imagine the moon, silent, cold, and ancient, orbiting that magnetic shell. Every 27 days, it drifts closer, then farther, its gravity tugging not just on oceans, but on this vast, invisible field. The moon, in its dance around Earth, subtly stirs the magnetosphere, like a gentle hand swirling water in a bowl. These shifts are small, so small they cannot be seen, but they can be felt, not by machines, but by us, because we, too, are magnetic creatures. Inside your brain are billions of neurons, tiny cells, firing electrical impulses that create every thought, every dream. When you close your eyes, those impulses fall into rhythm, waves of electricity that move from one hemisphere to another. Alpha waves, theta waves, delta waves. Each frequency, a tide of the mind. And here's the fascinating part. Scientists have found that during the full moon, these brainwave patterns subtly shift. Delta waves, the slow rhythms of deep sleep, decrease slightly, while lighter, more vivid dream states increase. You may not even notice, but your brain feels the moon's pull. It dreams more actively, as if the lunar light itself is stirring the subconscious sea. In 2013, researchers at the University of Basel discovered something extraordinary. Even in complete darkness, even in a sealed laboratory, participants' sleep patterns changed in sync with the moon's phases. Their melatonin levels dropped during the full moon. Their REM cycles became longer. It was as though their bodies could sense the moon's presence without seeing it, like internal compasses tuned to lunar time. A whisper passing through the body's magnetic field. Imagine that. The moonlight doesn't need to touch your skin for you to feel it. You are already part of its rhythm. Every atom in you contains traces of cosmic magnetism, iron from ancient stars. And that iron responds to magnetic fields when the moon shifts Earth's field ever so slightly. Your inner compass trembles, and your emotions, your moods, your dreams, they shimmer like reflections on moving water. Picture yourself now, standing on a quiet beach, beneath a full moon, the air still, yet charged. You can feel it, not as sound, but as pressure. A gentle weight around your shoulders, a hum behind your ears. It isn't frightening, it's intimate, as if the world itself is whispering. The ocean glows faintly, a line of white light tracing each wave, and above you, the magnetic field bends subtly toward the moon, invisible but vast, connecting you, the sea, and the sky in one silent current of energy. Long ago, sailors noticed their compasses behaving strangely during certain nights. The needle quivered ever so slightly near full moons, and though they didn't understand why, they called it lunar trembling. Modern science confirms they were not wrong. During specific lunar alignments, the moon's position enhances or weakens Earth's magnetic interactions with solar winds, creating what we now call geomagnetic tides, a magnetic echo of the ocean's physical ones, a pull not of water, but of charge. Now imagine what that means for you as you lie in bed. Your body is an electromagnetic field. Your heart alone produces one measurable, several feet from your chest. When you're calm, the field is smooth and coherent. When you're anxious, it becomes jagged, turbulent, just as a restless sea breaks into waves under strong wind. The moon's energy moves across this field, not to control you, but to harmonize, to remind. It invites you into alignment with the slow, steady rhythm of the cosmos. That's why so many cultures called the moon a healer. In Ayurveda, it governs the soma, the cooling, nourishing essence that restores body and mind. In Chinese medicine, it's linked to the yin, stillness, intuition, and water. And in modern chronobiology, we now speak of circadian rhythms, the roughly 29.5-day cycles that still influence sleep, appetite, and emotion. Even in cities glowing with artificial light, the moon's signal lingers in our cells. in the genetic echoes of ancient creatures who once rose and slept by her glow. It's humbling, isn't it? To think that your feelings, your sudden inspiration, your melancholy, your longing might be part of a vast electromagnetic tide. You are not separate from the night sky. You are a moving point within it. Your pulse is the echo of gravity. Your brain's light is born of ancient starlight. And when the moon brightens, some forgotten part of you awakens. Now let's wander deeper into this mystery. Imagine you are drifting in space, far above Earth, where the magnetosphere shimmers like an aurora around the planet. Ribbons of green and violet light ripple silently, each one shaped by the dance of solar wind and lunar influence. The moon glides past, its pale light reflecting off your skin. You feel no heat, only calm pressure, as if time itself is slowing. You sense that every heartbeat, every breath, is synchronized with that glowing sphere. The pull is gentle, loving, and infinite. Scientists studying human biofields have noticed something strange. When people meditate under moonlight, their heart rate variability, a measure of emotional coherence, often improves. Their alpha brain waves increase. Their nervous system enters a state of harmonic resonance. It's as though the moonlight sings a frequency your body recognizes, one that says, rest, restore, remember. And maybe that's what you're feeling on those sleepless nights, when the moon is too bright. When your thoughts sparkle like silver dust, it isn't agitation. It's your biology tuning into an ancient broadcast. The moon calling softly through magnetism, through memory, reminding your cells of the deep rhythm they were born from. Now, as you lie here, let that thought bring you peace, not restlessness. The energy you feel is not chaos, it's connection. You are part of the circuitry of life. The moon's current runs through you as light and feeling, and just as tides must rise before they fall, your wakefulness is simply a crest before the calm. Breathe now, slowly, deeply. Feel the invisible field around your body steady, each exhale softening it, each inhale drawing the moon's silver calm into your chest. If you listen closely, you can almost hear it, the quiet hum of Earth's magnetosphere, a sound that never stops, a frequency of home. And as that hum fades into the background, you realize something. The moon doesn't just move the oceans. It moves emotion. It pulls on the tide of feeling, not to disturb it, but to remind you how alive you are, how deeply woven into the world's rhythm your heart truly is. So let the night's hidden energy flow through you. Let it wash away the noise of the day. You are electric, magnetic, celestial. Your body is starlight, clothed in calm. Your dreams are data carried on lunar waves. You are both receiver and signal. The moon above, the magnetosphere around, and your heartbeat within, all in perfect, endless conversation. And as you drift closer to sleep, know that even now the moon watches over you, its pull gentle, its glow ancient, its silence deeper than time. You are part of its cycle, and it will cradle you night after night, until you dream again in its quiet light. Have you ever noticed that some dreams seem to glow, not with light you can see, but with a strange intensity, as if the dream itself remembers something you've forgotten, a feeling, a voice, a face from somewhere beyond the reach of waking thought? On certain nights, those dreams come alive with such clarity that you wake with your heart trembling. And if you step outside and look up, you'll find the moon watching. Silent, silver, and impossibly near, the moon and dreams, two mirrors of mystery. Both dwell in half-light, both reveal through shadow, and both hold power over the imagination. But what if their connection isn't just poetic? What if the moon truly shapes the architecture of our dreams, building landscapes in the dark of our minds, guiding stories, stirring emotion, even painting the occasional nightmare? Picture yourself lying beneath a vast night sky. The room is dim, the world quiet. Only a stripe of moonlight reaches your bed, and though your eyes are closed, your brain still feels that faint silver light. It threads through your eyelids like liquid thought, telling your circadian rhythm that it's still night, but not entirely. Your pineal gland, the tiny clock inside your brain, begins to whisper to your hormones. Melatonin trickles slower. Your body drifts not into heavy sleep, but into something more delicate, more luminous, a sleep filled with vivid scenes and fast-beating hearts. Scientists at the University of Gothenburg once studied this subtle influence. They found that during full moons, people's REM sleep, the dream-rich phase, became longer, and their dreams more emotionally charged. They were not random, they carried meaning, color, movement, and a strange sense of presence. It was as if the brain's internal theater had brightened the stage, inviting the actors of the subconscious to perform under lunar light. Dream researchers believe that during REM, the brain's limbic system, where emotion is born, flares with activity, while the rational prefrontal cortex quiets. That's why dreams feel so vivid but defy logic. And when the moon's light suppresses melatonin and deepens the REM phase, that emotion becomes amplified. The stories grow stronger, and sometimes darker. Have you ever had a dream so real you woke up believing it had happened? Maybe it wasn't pleasant. Maybe you were running, searching, remembering. These are lunar dreams, dreams where the veil between the emotional and the physical grows thin, and where imagination pulls its power from the same tides that move the sea. In ancient times, the moon was both a muse and a warning. The Greeks called her Selene, the goddess who drove her chariot of silver light across the night sky. But they also feared her madness. The word lunatic comes from luna, because people believed the moon could draw the mind too close to its own brightness, make dreams too vivid, too strong. But perhaps they were not wrong. The moon does not cause madness. It amplifies what already lingers. It reveals. Imagine your mind as a great ocean floor filled with ancient wrecks, forgotten fears, lost hopes, memories buried under time. Every night, your dreams are the tides that move above it, gentle, exploring, sometimes uncovering hidden treasures. But when the moon is full, those tides rise higher. They reach deeper, and sometimes what they uncover glows too bright to ignore. That is when nightmares are born, not as punishment, but as messages. The moon's way of reminding you that even the dark must be seen before it can be soothed. Neuroscientists studying nightmares discovered something beautiful. During a nightmare, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, flares to life. But if the dreamer does not wake too soon, the prefrontal cortex re-engages. Logic returns, and the dream can transform. Fear becomes story, terror becomes symbol. That moment is emotional alchemy, the mind healing itself through imagination. And under lunar influence, this process becomes stronger, because the full moon keeps the brain hovering between sleep stages, half in the dream, half in waking awareness, the perfect space for transformation. Now, picture yourself inside one of those dreams. You are walking through a forest lit entirely by moonlight. The leaves shimmer like glass. The air hums softly. You hear water, a small stream winding through the trees. But the water flows upward, defying gravity. You reach out and touch it. It's cool, alive. You follow it, and it leads you to a clearing where the moon itself seems close enough to touch. You lift your hand, and the light spills through your fingers like mist. This dream is not chaos, it's design, your subconscious crafting a visual poem out of emotion and reflection. Every image a mirror, every sensation a ripple of memory and moonlight. The moon's gravitational influence on the brain might sound impossible, but studies show that subtle geomagnetic fluctuations, often tied to lunar cycles, can alter serotonin levels, the very neurotransmitter that stabilizes mood and fuels imagination. Serotonin is a sculptor, shaping thought into imagery. When its rhythm changes, dreams bloom with unexpected detail. Your imagination expands. It begins to blend science and soul, reality and symbol, until the boundary between them vanishes. Artists, poets, and thinkers have always known this instinctively. Van Gogh painted Starry Night under the influence of sleepless, moonlit visions. Coleridge dreamed Kubla Khan after falling asleep mid-sentence. Both described their creative bursts as if someone else had whispered them, as if inspiration were tidal, and perhaps it was. The moon, it seems, does not only influence dreams, it influences creation itself. When you sleep under its glow, your imagination is not idle. It is collaborating with the cosmos, writing, painting, composing in silence. And yet, there is suspense here, because the same light that inspires can also reveal. If the moon amplifies your imagination, it also amplifies your introspection. It turns your thoughts into landscapes, your emotions into storms or calm seas. When you dream beneath the full moon, you are not escaping the world, you are exploring it from within, through the strange language of your subconscious. As you lie here now, breathing softly, your body is motionless, but your mind travels across the glowing surface of lunar seas, through corridors of memory, into the wild gardens of your imagination. Every neuron in your brain flickers like a tiny star, billions of them pulsing in harmony. Their electrical patterns as complex and beautiful as moonlight reflected on moving water. You are dreaming already, even if your eyes are still open. So let the moon have its way tonight. Let it pull at your imagination gently. Let it show you the beauty hidden in your own thoughts. If a nightmare comes, let it pass like a wave. It is only the moon's shadow brushing through your emotions. It cannot harm you. It is only showing you what needs to be released. And when the dream softens again, when the story changes from fear to wonder, from storm to calm, know that your mind is healing itself, balancing the tides within. You are both ocean and moon, both dreamer and light. Your imagination is not random. It is the continuation of creation itself. So rest now. Let your breath follow the rhythm of the night. Each inhale a rising tide, each exhale a falling one. The moon outside moves across the sky. The world turns beneath it, and inside you, imagination glows. Quietly, endlessly, beautifully, you are dreaming with the universe. And it is dreaming with you. Have you ever felt, just as you were falling asleep, that the world itself was breathing with you? A quiet rise and fall in the air, a pulse that doesn't belong to your body alone. As if somewhere beneath the ground, deep in the planet's hidden heart, something vast was moving in time with your lungs. It sounds poetic, impossible even, but it's real. The earth breathes, not in air, but in rhythm, in magnetic waves, in atmospheric tides, in pressure that shifts ever so slightly with the moon's gentle pull. And whether you realize it or not, your body listens to that planetary breath every single night. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine standing barefoot on soft grass just after sunset. The world is cooling. The light softens from gold to silver. The first stars blink awake. You can almost feel the planet exhaling, heat leaving the surface, moisture rising to form invisible threads of cloud. And somewhere above you, the moon appears, its pale face gazing down with quiet certainty. You breathe in, the earth exhales. You breathe out, the earth inhales. For one infinite moment, you are synchronized. Scientists call this rhythm the earth tide, not the movement of the oceans, but the actual, physical flexing of the planet's crust. The land beneath your feet rises and falls by a few centimeters each day, pulled gently by the moon's gravity. It's the slowest heartbeat imaginable, a pulse that takes hours to complete one breath. But it's there, and living creatures, it seems, have evolved to feel it. Your body is a collection of rhythms, heartbeats, breathing, brainwaves, all moving in patterns that echo the greater rhythm of the planet. Your heart beats around once every second. Your breath rises and falls, perhaps 15 times a minute. But deep within your biology are slower cycles, ultradian and circadian rhythms that govern when you wake, when you sleep, when you heal. And now, we're beginning to understand that even these inner clocks may sync with something older, the lunar rhythm of the earth itself. During certain moon phases, particularly around the full moon, subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure and electromagnetic field strength ripple through the environment. Plants adjust their sap flow, coral reefs time their spawning to it. Even the microscopic plankton in the ocean glow brighter. And you, though you live in cities far from the wild, still carry that rhythm within your cells. Your sleep deepens when the earth's breath slows. Your dreams sharpen when the magnetic field peaks. Your very heartbeat hums in quiet sympathy with the planet's rotation. Did you know that the human heart doesn't beat in perfect rhythm? It varies ever so slightly with every breath. When you inhale, the heart speeds up. When you exhale, it slows. This gentle dance is called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, and it mirrors the same ebb and flow the earth experiences under the moon's influence. Some scientists even call it the inner tide, a biological echo of the ocean's great movement. And when your breath falls into this natural rhythm, slow, deliberate, balanced, your nervous system relaxes. Your stress hormones fall, and your mind enters a state of calm awareness, the same state that deep meditation and moonlit silence can bring. Now picture this. You're lying in bed, the curtains half open, moonlight spills gently across the room. Your body begins to slow, the muscles loosen, your chest rises and falls. And as you drift toward sleep, your brain waves slow into deep theta outside. The moon is pulling the Earth's crust ever so slightly upward. The atmosphere hums with subtle shifts of gravity. And within your own body, the same pattern repeats. Your blood flow changes pace. Your breath synchronizes with that vast, unseen motion. You are literally breathing in time with the planet. Ancient traditions somehow knew this long before science did. The yogis of India called it prana, the breath of the earth. Native Hawaiian healers spoke of Ha, the sacred life breath connecting all beings, and in Japan, forest monks practiced Shinka-kyu, deep breathing with the rhythm of the land. Each of them describing the same truth, that human calm is born from cosmic harmony, that peace is not the absence of noise, but the alignment of inner and outer rhythm. In the last few years, researchers studying something called Schumann resonances, electromagnetic waves that resonate in Earth's atmosphere, have found frequencies that overlap precisely with human alpha brainwaves, about 8 Hz, the same state associated with light meditation and calm creativity. When you're relaxed but alert, when your thoughts slow and your senses open, that's your brain aligning with the Earth's natural frequency. And those resonances grow stronger during certain lunar alignments. It's as though the moon gently tunes the planet's electromagnetic song, and your mind, ever the instrument, vibrates in key. You may not hear it consciously, but your body responds. Your heart rate softens. Your breathing steadies. Your mind releases its grip on the day. And in that harmony, sleep arrives naturally, not as escape, but as reunion. There's a suspense to this realization, isn't there? That sleep, something we often struggle for, might not be a personal failure of restlessness, but a disconnection from the larger rhythm. When you stay up under artificial light, surrounded by noise and static, your body forgets how to listen to the Earth's breath. But when you step outside, when you feel the cool air, the stillness, the soft pull of the moon, you begin to remember, and sleep finds you easily, like a tide returning home. Imagine the Earth now as a giant sleeper, its continents like limbs at rest, its oceans rising and falling like lungs, the moon gliding around it like a gentle guardian. And all across this sphere, billions of creatures inhale and exhale, each breath joining the next in one silent, continuous wave. The forest exhales oxygen. You inhale it. You exhale carbon dioxide. The trees drink it. Everything connected. Everything breathing. You are not separate from that rhythm. You are one of its many expressions. Your breath is the planet's echo. Your heartbeat, its percussion. Your dreams, its distant imagination. And every night, when you fall asleep beneath the moon, you return to that original harmony, the one you were born from, the one that never really left. Now take a deep breath, hold it softly, and release. Let your body feel heavy. Let your thoughts grow light. Outside, the wind slows. The world exhales again. The Earth's gravity hums in perfect balance. The moon's pull soft but certain. You are aligned. You are at peace. You are home in the end. The science of sleep and the poetry of the moon tell the same story. That you are not a machine that rests. You are a rhythm that returns. A breathing extension of a living planet under a breathing sky. The moon is your metronome, the earth your drum, and your dreams, the melody that rises in between. every inhale a tide, every exhale a falling wave. The universe continues its endless lullaby, and tonight you are part of its song. So rest now. Let the earth breathe for you. Let the moon guide your rhythm. And as you drift deeper into sleep, know that somewhere, far below your awareness, the whole planet moves with you. The crust flexes, the air hums, the oceans sigh, and your body, your small, miraculous body, moves in time with the cosmos, peaceful, ancient, eternal. Have you ever wondered why a simple glass of water can feel different beneath the light of the moon? Why moonlit lakes shimmer, not just with reflection, but with something that feels alive, as if the water remembers something ancient, a secret? And why, on nights when the moon is full, your emotions rise like the sea? Why tears come easier, dreams grow clearer, and silence feels almost sacred? There is a reason, and it begins with the most mysterious substance on earth, the one element that connects every form of life, the same molecule that flows through the ocean and through your veins, the same that falls from the sky, freezes on mountain peaks, and swirls in the depths of your mind. You are, after all, mostly water, about 70% of your body, and that water, it seems, remembers. Imagine this: a calm midnight by the ocean, the full moon hanging low, its reflection stretching across the rippling surface like a bridge between worlds. Each wave glimmers silver, each droplet alive with light. You stand there, barefoot, feeling the breeze that smells faintly of salt and mystery. And as you listen, you realize this is not random movement. The water is responding. It's listening to the moon's gravitational whisper, rising, falling, pulsing, as though the moon's light itself were breathing through it. Science calls this the lunar tide, but deeper studies reveal something far stranger. Water doesn't just move. It records, it responds to vibration, frequency, and even human emotion. In laboratories, droplets of water exposed to gentle music or loving thoughts crystallize in perfect patterns, while those exposed to chaos or anger distort into broken shapes. The conclusion, though controversial, feels intuitively true, that water somehow carries memory, not in the way a computer does, but like a mirror that remembers every reflection. And every reflection, even the moon, leaves a trace. So what happens when that same lunar pull, that silver frequency, touches the water inside you? Your blood, your cells, your brain, when the moonlight falls across your sleeping face. It's not only your skin that feels it, the water within you does too. Microscopic tides shifting softly through your tissues, tiny waves moving through your bloodstream, an inner ocean responding to the one outside during the full moon. Scientists have recorded changes in sleep structure, dream vividness, and emotional sensitivity. Some people report restless nights, others unusually calm sleep. It seems the moon does not dictate your emotions, it simply amplifies them. Like light glinting on water, whatever is within you, the moon reveals more clearly. Did you know that your brain's cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that cushions your thoughts, also pulses in waves? Each pulse matching your heartbeat, each flow influenced by your breathing and by Earth's subtle magnetic fields. This inner sea, scientists now believe, plays a vital role in emotional balance and dream formation. And when the moon's gravitational force peaks, it slightly alters how that fluid circulates, meaning that even your dreams may ride the moon's invisible tide. It's poetic, yes, but it's also physics. Every mass in the universe pulls on every other mass. The moon, though small, exerts its will on water more than any element. And because you are made of water, you are part of that silent dance. You are, in essence, a moving tide of consciousness. Every heartbeat a wave, every thought a ripple, the moonlight across your skin a reminder that your emotions, like the sea, were never meant to stay still. Let's dive even deeper. Imagine looking at your reflection in a quiet lake. The surface so still you can see every star above mirrored below. Now toss a pebble. The ripples move outward, circles of motion, circles of time. The moon does the same, but on a planetary scale. Every tide, every rhythm, every heartbeat across the earth moves slightly in response to its pull. The ancient poets weren't wrong when they said the moon moves the blood. For even in modern hospitals, doctors note subtle changes in birth rates, wound healing, and even mental calmness across the lunar cycle. Coincidence? Or the hidden memory of water recalling, aligning, harmonizing? Here's where it grows more mysterious. Researchers studying structured water, the hexagonal form that forms near biological surfaces, have discovered that this water can store electromagnetic information. Like a soft biological recorder, it remembers patterns of vibration, the way light or sound once passed through it. So, when the moonlight, a form of electromagnetic radiation, touches this living water within your body, it may, quite literally, alter the song your cells are singing, reshaping your mood, your dreams, even your immune function. And what is emotion? If not movement, emotion, energy in motion, like waves upon the ocean of your mind. So when you feel sadness swell or joy expand under a full moon, perhaps you are not becoming emotional. Perhaps your inner ocean is simply resonating with the outer one, the moon, that ancient conductor in the sky, lifting every tide, including the ones inside your heart. Now imagine a tear rolling down your cheek. Salt water, the same concentration as the sea. It falls not just from sadness, but from release, from alignment. The moon doesn't make you cry. It simply gives your emotions permission to flow again, to become waves instead of stones. And when you allow that, when you let emotion move through you like water, returning to the sea, healing begins. This is the memory of water, not a mystical claim, but an ancient truth hidden in plain sight. Water heals because it moves, because it remembers how to flow. And when you, too, remember how to flow with your breath, with your emotions, with the moon, you return to harmony. That's what true rest is, not just sleep, but reunion with the rhythm that sustains all life. Outside, the ocean is breathing, the moon watching, patient and eternal inside. Your blood hums with the same pulse, every heartbeat sending waves of memory through you, every dream carrying whispers of the sea you were once part of. And as you drift into sleep tonight, know that you are water, remembering its source. You are moonlight, reflected. You are tide in time, forever rising, forever falling, forever returning home. So breathe now, slowly, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the breath ripple through your body like waves on a calm shore. Feel the fluid motion inside you. your heartbeat echoing the moon's distant pull, your mind floating effortlessly. Peaceful, quiet, luminous, the moon is watching, and the water within you listens still. Tomorrow, when the light returns, you will carry this calm with you, because even in daylight, the moon's influence does not fade. It lingers in the ocean, in the clouds, in the cells of your heart, every drop remembering, every breath continuing the ancient rhythm. For you are not separate from the tides, you are the tide, and when you sleep, the moon keeps the memory alive, for you, for the oceans, for the dream of the living earth itself. Have you ever felt that your dreams grow stranger beneath a full moon, that they stretch longer, linger brighter, that somewhere between wakefulness and sleep, your mind glows like the silver edge of the night sky? It's not just imagination, there is a rhythm, quiet and profound, a silver pulse that passes through the brain when the moonlight falls across the earth. An unseen frequency, ancient, gentle, yet powerful enough to shape the currents of our sleeping minds. Picture yourself now, drifting in the soft glow of the moon. You are lying in bed, the curtains slightly open, a faint silver light touching your skin. Outside, the air is still. Even the leaves seem to shimmer in silence. Somewhere far above, the moon turns, its pale reflection sliding across oceans and rooftops. The light that reaches you left the lunar surface over a second ago, and yet it carries something more than photons. It carries the rhythm of time itself, the quiet synchronization between your heart and the heavens. Scientists once believed moonlight had no measurable effect on the brain. But that theory began to shift. In Switzerland, sleep researchers discovered something astonishing during full moons. Human brain waves slow down, the time it takes to fall asleep increases, and REM sleep, the phase where dreams unfold, becomes shorter yet more intense. It's as if the moon, in its fullness, calls to the dreaming mind, whispering, "Stay awake just a little longer. See what lies beyond the veil." The moonlight's glow, though faint, interacts with the body's melatonin cycle. Melatonin, the chemical language of night, produced by the pineal gland deep in your brain. It signals that darkness has come, that it's time to rest, to release, to dream. But under bright moonlight, melatonin levels subtly decline. Your body lingers between day and night, between conscious thought and the infinite waters of the subconscious. This in-between state, the hypnagogic state, is where dreams often begin, where creativity and intuition come alive. Ancient philosophers knew this space well. They called it the luminous threshold, a place where gods, muses, and memories crossed freely between worlds. They believed moonlight was not just reflection, but transmission, a silver language of the cosmos, a code that tuned the mind to universal frequencies. Perhaps that's why artists and poets across history spoke of sleepless nights under the full moon, of visions that came unbidden, of melodies, inventions, and stories that seemed to descend from the sky. What if those were not coincidences, but the moon's subtle influence on the rhythm of dreaming thought in your brain? Dreams are built in waves, alpha, theta, delta, each wave carrying its own kind of sleep, its own kind of silence. When you drift into theta, your mind becomes fluid. Images rise without logic. Memories melt into symbols. Sounds turn into colors, and the moon, through its faint, gravitational and electromagnetic whisper, can tune these waves like strings of a harp. The result? More vivid imagery, more emotional depth, dreams that feel almost real enough to touch. Did you ever wake from a dream beneath the full moon and feel that the air itself still held the memory of it? That your room felt charged, your pulse quickened, as if the dream hadn't left, but was still hovering just beyond your reach? That's the resonance of the silver pulse, the mind still vibrating at lunar frequency. The bridge between inner and outer worlds not yet closed. Even the brain's electrical field seems to shimmer differently during full moon nights. EEG scans have shown mild increases in synchronized brainwave coherence. In simple terms, it means your mind's hemispheres start to sing together, logic and emotion, science and story. The rational mind and the dreamer, briefly united. You could call it balance, or harmony, or perhaps lunar alignment. But there's a darker side too. A shadow that stirs when the moon is bright. Emergency rooms report subtle rises in sleepwalking, emotional outbursts, and vivid nightmares during lunar peaks. The same amplification that inspires art can also intensify unrest, because the moon does not distinguish between calm and chaos. It merely amplifies what is already there. Whatever thoughts or emotions have been buried deep may rise, just like the tide, pulling hidden things from the ocean floor. It's not a curse, it's a cleansing, a chance for your mind to see what it usually hides, to release what no longer serves. And as you surrender to this cycle, you learn something profound. Dreams are not random. They are tides of the mind, moving under the moon's guidance. Each dream a wave that carries you toward deeper understanding. Each night a quiet conversation between your subconscious and the stars. There is also the rhythm of time within dreams. Studies show that lunar cycles subtly influence when we remember dreams. During waxing moons, dream recall increases. During waning phases, forgetfulness returns. It's as though the mind itself breathes with the moon, exhaling memory, then drawing it back in. Each phase a shift between awareness and rest, between illumination and release. Now imagine yourself floating in that rhythm. You are no longer confined to your bed. You're adrift among slow-turning clouds. The moonlight brushing across your face, your heartbeat syncing with its orbit. Every breath drawing in silver air, every exhale soft as falling tide. The world below dim and distant, the stars above whispering faint stories. And you realize you are both the dreamer and the dream, the tide and the moon, the observer and the light reflected upon the water. When you sleep under the moon, your brain becomes an ocean of light. Waves of thought rise and fall. Neural tides carry emotion, imagination, and memory like drifting shells. Sometimes you surface, sometimes you sink, and sometimes you glimpse something extraordinary, a dream that feels like remembering, as if you've been here before. As if the moon has shown you this same vision countless times, because perhaps it has. Perhaps the moon has been guiding dreams since the first creature dared to close its eyes, since the first tide rose and whispered its song to the shore. The silver pulse is more than a metaphor. It's a shared heartbeat between you and the universe, between every sleeper, every sea, every phase of light. And as you drift now, breathing slow, you can feel that connection. Inhale. Feel the cool air filling your lungs like lunar tide. Exhale, release into the rhythm of the night. Your mind, your dreams, your body aligned, balanced, restored. Because even when you are asleep, you are still part of the moon's grand design. Each dream you dream adds to the story of light returning to itself. Each heartbeat a ripple, each breath a reflection. And when the night deepens, and you slip beyond the edge of thought, the moon keeps watch, guiding the waves of your mind through the quietest oceans of sleep, until morning light arrives and the silver pulse fades back into stillness. But only for a while, because the moon will rise again, and the dreams, like the tide, will always find their way home.